Today, we are going to talk about relationship between indigenous people to the tropical rainforest. But first, why are rainforests important? An area rich in diversity of plants and animals is nothing but rainforest. Rainforests are still the main factor in humans and other creatures living on this planet. By absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen that we depend on for our survival, the absorption of the CO2 also help to stabilize the Earth's climate. Rainforests also help to maintain the world water cycle by adding water to the atmosphere through the process of transpiration, which creates clouds. Water generated in rainforests travel around the world. Scientists think that moisture generated in the forest of Africa ends up falling as rain in the Americas. Many indigenous people have been living in harmony with the rainforest for thousands of years, depending on it for their food, shelter, and medicines. When oil and logging companies come to remove vast areas of forest, they bring diseases which the indigenous people have no resistance to. Sometimes they are also forced to move away from their homes to unfamiliar places.
An indigenous tribe fighting to survive in the depth of the Amazon jungle has largely avoided contact with the outside world. The Yanomami have lived in a large, pristine forest on the boundary between Venezuela and Brazil. They said that they face a real risk of losing their land, culture, and the way of life. Despite the Yanomami regions being a federally protected area where mining is prohibited, Yanomami and local officials estimate that there are more than 20,000 illicit gold miners, also known as garimpeiros. In recent years, a suite of illegal prospectors have destroyed forests, polluted rivers, and introduced deadly disease to the tribe. Joania Wapishana, who is the only indigenous woman elected to the Brazilian Congress, wanted that the number of invaders has increased. Both loggers and miners who are at the service of people who have strong economic power and organized crime is beginning to enter the territory. The environmental and health issue is getting worse and is putting the indigenous people at risk of extinction.
Let's look at another territory such as Single Indigenous Territory. The indigenous people in that territory use productive systems in shifting cultivation in which depend on regenerating of the secondary forest and soil fertility. But this method is not very working as it intensifies the forest certain time and may unable to sustain stability and leading to forest degrading. A non-government organization come and become partnership with Single Indigenous Territory people in order to elevate the problem. They conduct a project and research on it and find out that a region adjacent to Single Indigenous Territory is where the problem starts and main factor responsible for the greater availability of forests in the region of fire, affecting many plant species and strategic environments. The best way to regenerate the forest is to use ancient methods of the tribe as traditional knowledge, provide more functional and important in helping the forest in need of shifting cultivation.
For Aboriginal people, land has a spiritual, cultural, and other connection. They feel the pain of the country as the pain to themselves. As somebody explained that, for Aboriginal peoples, a country is more than a place. Nature, animal, and human all were formed of the same substance by the ancestors. Country filled with relation, language, and law. No matter whether the shape of that relation is, country is family, cultural identity, country is self. In the culture of the Maori people of New Zealand, humans are deeply connected with nature. The idea is reflected in the word Kaikia Kikanga, which means guarding the environment in order to respect the ancestors and secure the future.
We are a product of nature. We were born from the earth. We live from and depend on nature. That's why we care for it and have to defend it. This is said by Evilio Yukuna, the shaman of the indigenous community living in southeastern Amazonas province. There are various reasons why the best guardians of the forest are the indigenous people. As people who grew up relying on forests, indigenous people know what factors affect the forest. Those who live there always need the permission of their shaman before they can cut down any trees. They only cut certain species of trees and also let the trees regrow for 6 to 7 years. Areas in the forest are managed for different purposes such as hunting, fishing, and farming.
More importantly, indigenous people view that every resource in the forest is not to make profit, but to make a living. And all of this knowledge will continue to pass on to the later generations.